cold night. In fact, there's a hard freeze setting in around Central Florida and up here in the Panhandle. So if you're going outside, don't. Get yourself a warm sweater and get next to your fireplace and call it a night. It's going to be here a couple of days, and we hope you stay warm. Stay warm with us right here on the program, the Buddy Martin Show tonight. We got a good array of guests lined up for you. Ben Troupe, looking forward to his conversations about what's happening in the NFL. Coaches. Wow, 8 coaches fired. Unbelievable. And one of them in particular I'm going to talk about, a rarity in this change in this city where coaches never leave. And I'll tell you all about that. And I know Ben will want to weigh in on that. We also talk a little about the progress of John Summerall. All good so far. The last 10, 12 days. It looks like a good report. And then we've got Franz Beard. How good is this Gator basketball team? Getting better and better. And if you saw the game against Oklahoma, totally dominated the Sooners on the road. Totally. What a performance. Now, on to the next thing. Previously unbeaten Vanderbilt Saturday in Nashville. They did get beat this past week. But, however, that's what's on the show. Tell your friends and neighbors to come join us. We'd like for you to make comments. We show them on the screen when we can. And as long as you keep them kind of halfway civil. And then we've got also Loren Meadows, Coach Loren Meadows, always on top of things. He'll have some basketball comments. And I'm sure he's been observing what's happening with the football team. So far, all good with John Summerall in the first 10 days. And tonight, a little catch-up. Not ketchup like you eat, but catch up. Catching up with Gymnastics. Dan Bond in Dallas, who's one of our very best guys, one of our best reporters, will be on the program and talk about big match this weekend between the Gator basketball, Gator volleyball, I'll get it right, Gator gymnastics team and Alabama, 1 versus 4. So lots to talk about. And by the way, I've got golf on the screen. I know you don't care, but sometimes a little golf to kind of slow the pace down for me. First golf tournament of the year. It's in Hawaii. Nice and warm there. Stay tuned. Coming up next, it's the Buddy Martin Show. Tell your friends and neighbors to come and join us and talk ball.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
And we're having a couple of little technical problems. Must be the weather. Getting our link out to all the people who need to have it. So we're going to resend it to them again to make sure we've got a good lineup of guests tonight. We want to be sure and get it to them. I don't talk much about this because we stayed at college ball. And we don't talk about pros. But it's been kind of hard lately not to talk about. There's so much going on. And some terrific games. We've had some so far. We're going to have some more terrific games. And I'm not an NFL guy, as most of you know, but it is something you can't ignore. So we'll talk about that some tonight. How many coaches do you think have been fired in the NFL so far? I gave it to you earlier. And one of them that resigned and didn't fire was a guy I know a little bit about. I can't say that I knew him, but I knew his family, his father, pretty good. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And then tonight, how about this? Dan Mullen, Coach of the Year. Yeah, that's what it says here. Coach of the Year, first year Coach of the Year. Picked by who? Steve Spurrier. Dan Mullen tweeting out today was quite an honor to be picked as Steve Spurrier's and the Football Writers of America as their best coach. So Dan Mullen making a little bit of a comeback there, right? And good for him. And he did have a good year at UNLV. We wish you all the best from there. So we'll see. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Of all the coaches in the NFL who got fired, I know most people, don't keep tabs, but it's hard. It was such a bloodletting this year. The salaries have gotten so high that, it is because, they get high. I had no idea. I see where some new coaches are getting it. They're recycling a bunch of coaches, and some of them are going to make $19 or $20 million a year. My word, what has happened? We know we can't keep up anymore because it's, it's just too much going on. Well, one of the guys that I want to talk about is Mike Tomlin. He's a guy that has been 19 years in the league. You believe that? 19 years in the league. And he walked out. He up and walked out and said he's done. He's finished. And I think everybody was caught by surprise, including including the Rooneys and what have you. So let's see if we can get over here and get to our buddy Ben Troupe, who pops in there. Good evening to you, Ben. Are you staying warm, buddy? Oh, can't get Mr. Hey, are you there?
Doing my best.
Is it cold where you are?
It is cold where I am. Yes, I mean we got neighbors' pipes bursting across the street, and we got to make sure that my pipes gonna be good. But we good over here. We good.
I had one of those kind of years at Christmas one time in Colorado where it gets really cold, and our pipes burst, and I wasn't prepared for it, and I had to call a guy on Christmas Day to come out. You know what that costs? And I had this copper piping that just blew up and froze. So we didn't have much money for Christmas presents that year. So what I did
was like, Daddy, what's going on? Like,
yeah, right. But it's bursted pipes. But you know what I did? I cut a piece of that pipe and I hung it on the Christmas tree. And somewhere, yeah, it's a little bit tight, but
okay.
So I'm really glad I got you tonight because I want to talk for a minute about a subject that we don't normally talk about here. That's the NFL. As coaches, and coaches, this has been an all-time bloodletting this year. For a while, we've talked to, with coaches. I think 8 coaches have left and parted or fired or whatever. And many of them are being recycled for a ton of money.
Yeah.
But I want to get your thoughts on that. Then I want to talk specifically about a guy who hadn't changed for 19 years, walked in the office on Monday and said, I'm done. Mike Tomlin. Wow, that was a shocker.
That was a shocker. Number one, going 19 years in anything in the NFL, as far as like a head coach, but it's so unheard of now. 19 years, the same organization, same guy. That's a lot of drafts. That's a lot of players. That's a lot of change. The NFL, from the time he became the head coach to now, has changed dramatically. But this is what I think happened with Mike Tomlin. You go all the way back to 2024, they was asking him after the season, last season, are you going to retire? And obviously he was like, no, I'm not going to retire. But I think the thing about Mike Tomlin is he's realizing that they don't pay me to never have a losing season in the regular season. It's just not happening in the postseason. It hasn't happened in a long time. And I believe a guy like Mike Tomlin, while he definitely is one of the best coaches we've ever seen, and he respects the Rooney family for giving him 19 years or earning 19 years, he's saying, I'm not here to just be a slot filler. I want to be a guy that's going deep into the postseason. And the one thing that Mike Tomlin struggled with the most is no Ben Roethlisberger. He inherited Ben Roethlisberger. Obviously, they had some great years together. But, buddy, I don't care what you have around them. You can have the best receivers, running backs, tight ends, linebackers, defense. If you don't got the quarterback, it's not going to work. So I respect it, though. 19 years, though.
Yeah, really.
Like, you forget he was there that long. So obviously, still a nation is going to miss him, or some of them, depending on who you're asking. But it's going to be hard to replace that much, structure, and he was very, very consistent. But like I said, they don't pay you for regular season awards. They don't pay you for regular season accolades. They pay you for postseason success and accolades. And the last time he was in a Super Bowl, the guy that beat him was his quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. That's the last time he was at 2011 or something like that. So it's the Rooneys they're going to take their time in picking the next Steeler head coach because they've only had 3, which is even crazier. You've only had 3 coaches in the history of your organization. That's wild. And we'll see who because I thought that I still think the best coaching destination is the Ravens because you got Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Harbaugh has already signed with the Giants. I think the Falcons, I think the Titans are going to be very intriguing. But the Pittsburgh Steelers is the best. Now that Harbaugh is gone, and we're going to see who's going to be with the Ravens, Pittsburgh, it's up there as far as like coaching destination. So we'll see how the Rooney. I'm pretty sure the Rooneys aren't going to get a former quarterback like Miami got Troy Aikman helping them find a coach, which is so weird. Which is so weird to me. I don't understand that. But you're right, buddy. 8 coaching vacancies, even though 1 got filled. Harbaugh got what? 5 years, $100 million. So these coaches that's getting recycled, they don't come cheap. So if they've been a head coach before and you want to bring them to your organization, $10 million is laughable now. Like $10 million, no. We talking about 15 at the bare minimum. So I'm going to be intrigued to see who Pittsburgh gets. The Mike Tomlin situation was a shocker. We made it to the playoffs because the Baltimore kicker missed a kick. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be weird watching those Pittsburgh stylines and not having Mike Tomlin on it. That's going to be we're going to have to get used to that.
It's really incredible numbers regarding him, and I knew his dad. I knew him in Ocala, Ed Tomlin, and I interviewed him 5 or 6 times, and he told me about Mike. They were estranged. Mom and dad were divorced, but he told me things about Mike then. We're talking 15 years ago. He's been there, 19? When he said his goal was to make $10 million. So that was laughable then. $10 million. Nobody makes $10 million. And also his background, he's very educationally oriented. And he also dealt a lot with players and their money and helped them with their money a lot. I heard several guys talking about it. He taught me how to put it away. And so just I was not a Tomlin guy. My buddy Terry Bradshaw, and he didn't really get along that great, but whatever. But drilling down on looking at him, the phenomenal thing about him, he had 200 wins, never had a losing season.
Wow. That's unheard of. That is
I mean, the problem was, a lot of people say now, was he went too much on defense. He didn't have enough offensive players. And that he took teams that were pretty average and tried to elevate them, and they weren't that good. I don't know. We'll see. But, I mean, I was impressed by one thing. He told me, his dad told me once, I interviewed him on my show in Ocala 5, 6 times, and he told me that Mike's had 2 real big goals. In college, he went to William & Mary, a very smart guy, very great student. His goal was to read 50 of the classics books. When's the last time you heard a coach say that?
Never. I mean, the coaching philosophies are the key to any coach for longevity. And I think it's always intriguing, buddy, when his dad is giving you. Let me tell you what makes Mike tick. He got the X and O's. Like, he's a coach, but every coach, players always have a chip on their shoulder. I got a chip on my shoulder. Coaches have something about them that they only willing to reveal to certain people. And he was telling you, look, Mike is a different guy because education and intelligence is what got him to where he got. And I saw him interview on the Pivot with Ryan Clark, Channing Crowd, and obviously Fred Taylor. Shout out to them Gators doing great things in the podcast and content creation world. And he said something that I can appreciate. He says, most coaches coach because we weren't good enough to play. We weren't good enough to play. And he go, I'm willing to say that out loud. Like, it bothers me that I wasn't good enough. But he says, I don't like draft evaluations. He goes, whenever you give me a negative draft evaluation on a player, he says, that's coaching. That's what coaching comes in. He said, I don't run from coaching, I run to coaching. And them, listen, I've heard those Mike Tomlin isms. I heard he got a grip of them. And I think the greatest thing I've ever heard Mike Tomlin say, he said, it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. We're all capable.
Right.
And like I said, buddy, 19 years at anything. If you never had a losing season in high school in 19 seasons, that would be crazy. So
and here's, like I said, I mean, it's crazy. Listen to this. He made his money. Okay, he made over $100 million in his career earnings. He saved a bunch of it. He walked away from the Steelers with a net worth north of $40 million. Now, there's a guy who got what he wanted. He's just.
More than him. I know him and his wife do a lot in the community. A lot. He's big. Him and Mike Loxley, former running backs coach, of Florida, former offensive coordinator, head coach of Maryland. They do a lot for the Black Coaches Coalition, and I just appreciate the fact that Mike Tomlin didn't run from his position. And I say that to say, yes, it's 2026 and we got to get past the black head coach thing. But until it normalizes itself, like until it's just like, I want to say when the season first started in 2025, it was 16. I want to say it was like 16 black starting quarterbacks. That is crazy. But it just shows where we're going in sports with Mike Tomlin. He set the bar so high for any coach, black or white. It's just what does he do from here? I mean, I do think he's going to come back to coaching. I think he's going to step away for a year because there's so much on him. But
TV for a year and go. Now, I don't want to spend the whole show on Tomlin, but I did want to get this out. Final thing, and then we'll move to the Gators for you folks here. And thank you for go ahead and comment. We'll put your comments up there. Here's what's amazing. While Pittsburgh had only 3 head coaches last 56 years, get this, how long is that? The Catholic Church had 5 popes. Can you believe that? That's amazing.
How many coaches have the Browns had in 10 years?
Oh my gosh, last 10 minutes. I mean, yeah, for sure. So, all right, so let's move on to the Gators. I think that's what people want to talk about tonight, this cold weather, and stay warm up there. We're going to be talking just a minute to Franz. He's got some stuff on basketball, of course, and we've also got Loren Meadow, your friend, on tonight to weigh in, and we're going to talk big gymnastics meet this weekend. You ever watch any gymnastics?
I did. I was a big fan of the gymnasts that came in with me in 2000. I think gymnastics is one of those sports, buddy. Watching it on TV doesn't do you justice. If you get a chance to watch it up close, it is amazing to see people that small with that much like explosiveness
and tough.
And you always ask them the same question. When you flying in the air like that, they like, man, I just want to land on my feet. So
well, they're going to be a big meet. 1 versus 4 in Alabama. We'll have Dan on later. Now, let's talk for a minute about your coach. We've had an interesting last couple of weeks. I wrote a piece last week about doing a little sunshine thumping, talking about the good things, looked up some information, began to evaluate what they're doing, got information about Phil Troutwine, what an unbelievable job he's doing on offensive linemen. He got some studs coming in there. And then, of course, the retention, which is what he talked about on Steve Russell's show day before yesterday. Coach Summerall did about that was almost more important than the recruiting and the retention, of course, of number 13, having him back. And he said there's 5 guys. We all know the 5 he targeted, but he said really there's 15 more of the retention that are really key and the core to this thing. Anyway, I think he's made a mark. And I think people are beginning to feel it. And the comments I got on the column were, remarkable that the people were there. I don't get my heart broken again, but I got to admit, this gets my interest. What are you picking up there in Savannah and the Gator fans you talk to? What are you hearing? What do you think? And how do you feel about how things are going?
What I get in my neck of the woods, buddy, is optimism. And here's why. Coach Summerall, obviously, the knock on him first was, you're going back to the Sun Belt again. You talk about a Sun Belt Billy all over again. And that had nothing to do with him. But then I like what he gets a lot of credit for is bringing guys from the staff with him, like a Byron Bam Hartman, a former teammate of mine, outside linebacker, right?
Yeah.
And yes, he wasn't able to keep them all. But the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, what people don't realize about Coach Faulkner, he was highly sought after. A lot of teams wanted him. A lot of teams wanted him, and offensive coordinator of the year. But you talk about the retention thing, right? Okay. When Jaden Ball coming back, let me tell you what that says around the country. We know that Texas and LSU was throwing money at him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing, buddy. Talking to Buddy Martin on these airways is different than talking to you in person. I get to see your mannerisms. I get to see you face to face. Coach Summerall, he says, look, you put him in front of me, I'm going to persuade him. Because Coach Summerall going to hit him with, man, he going to say two things. What are you trying to do on the field, and what do you want? Because he goes, just because they're throwing money at you to go to another school don't mean you're going to get the touches that you want. Don't mean they know how to utilize you. But for him to come out and say, it's 15 more. What Coach Summerall does to me is this. He presents you with the opportunity, but he doesn't beg you to stay. That's a good coach to me. Because if I got to beg you to stay, I got to beg you to play. No. I want you, Jaden. We want you here. Do you want to be here?
We're going to give you the rock.
Yeah. And that says a lot about Coach Summerall, too, because a lot of people kept saying, okay, I know he's the head coach of Florida, but can he compete with some of these NILs? And he's saying, yeah. Because that's what the coach is really up against, right? It's not so much the brand Florida. It's, okay, some of these schools got deep pockets. Some of these schools got fabric. Forget pockets. They make their own clothes over there. But I think what Coach Summerall has at his disposal is the fact that he goes, regardless of what you say, my team was just in the college football playoff, regardless of what happened, right? We was there, which means I know how to coach. I don't have a 5-year plan. I have a right now plan. I like that. Now, buddy, you could do no wrong because it's off season. You ain't play coach no games, but it's optimism in the state of Georgia, buddy, for this reason. Coach Summerall was highly sought after. Obviously, everybody had to get past the whole Lane Kiffin situation, which I think a lot of people owe you an apology, buddy. Not that you care, but they do, because just because he didn't pick Florida, that doesn't mean the number was wrong. The number was dead on. He just chose to go. So, which I had a feeling. I didn't think he wanted to smoke from LA. I didn't think he wanted to smoke in Florida. Not saying they ain't smoking LSU, but that's another show for another day. I like what Coach Summerall is doing from this standpoint. I'm getting staff that is highly respected in college football. Your defensive coordinator, he understands, hey, I'm in the SEC, but I've been up there in Kentucky. So that's another whole region that we got. You're talking about Coach Faulkner. If you cannot recruit in Atlanta, you don't deserve to coach. He was in the ATL, which means he got that whole area. 100-mile radius from the biggest airport on the East Coast got to be Atlanta. Good Lord. They're gonna be doing construction at Atlanta Airport when Jesus come back. They're gonna be still trying to. So I just like the move. I like the fact that he's doing it with the coaches. Everybody said it didn't matter. You got to get Jaden to come back. And fair or unfair, he's coming back, right? Every year now, you got a big returner. A couple of years back, it was Ricky Pearsall, right? Then you talk about Graham Mertz. Right. This year, when you talk about a guy like Jaden Ball coming back, that's looking at the mother school saying, all right, I know y'all wanted him, but right now he's a Florida Gator and he got one more year. I mean, hopefully, it'll probably be his last year in college if he stays healthy. But I just like the moves being made, buddy, because I think Coach Summerall, he seems to be a guy that's rolled to the beat of his own drum. high energy. And he understands football. So
They're not here to win
can,
favors.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to watch. I'm looking forward to see what else he does.
Yeah, we got some really good people on here, and Toby Parler is one of them. He's got information. Here's a new guy already, defensive tackle from Baylor. I haven't heard about that. I can't pronounce his name.
How do you say that name right there? Samu Tama. Ooh, man. Okay.
Yeah. 6'3", 376.
That sounds like Tua Tagovailoa cousin.
It does. It's a big boy. So good job. Thank you, Toby. And also, Toby mentions that apparently, I don't know if I get this up here or not, he says Mike Tomlin's cousin is an assistant coach to Ocala Forest, which means he coached with John Brantley, if that's where he is.
Okay.
So how about that? So there you go. So making connections there. Good stuff. My guys, they know their stuff, man. Yeah.
So is Mike Tomlin's dad from? Do he live in Ocala? Is he from Ocala?
His dad's dead now, but he lived in Ocala. He worked in Ocala, but he was divorced, and that's when I met him there. Met him and got a chance to know him. Quite active in the community, and he was a sharp guy, and he gave me some insights. Like I said. Anyway, so I think did you hear about Dan Mullen getting Steve Spurrier's coach of the year, first year coach of the year?
Really?
Yeah, he tweeted it out. Quite an honor, Coach Spurrier and the Football Writers named me the best first coach of the year, first year coach, I guess. So how about that?
That's high praise, man. That's how. Look, Coach Spurrier. When people talk about name and image likeness and likability and just sustainability and star power, Coach Spurrier is so beyond his years, man. Like back when Eastern Carolina played, I think they played Georgia State in a bowl game down there in Orlando. Steve Spurrier Jr., I think, was the offensive coordinator for East Carolina. And me and BJ was working the game, and Coach Spurrier was there. Every time he take a picture with me, he'll like mess up his hair a little bit before he take it. But Coach Spurrier is so he has this thing about understanding people, but understanding the moment. Like it's like he always understands. He ain't scripted by no means. Like he's not scripted, but he knows what to say. He knows how to say it. He knows to throw a little humor in there. So hey, Dan Mullen, that's a great thing for Dan Mullen to be getting that type of praise
for him. He gets the triumph of return to Giesel. Here's the thing about Spurrier, and I've got a column halfway done now. I've received, and others have seen this online. These people do these clickbait things, saying Steve Spurrier has brain cancer. Steve Spurrier is on his deathbed, and and they're just trying to get you clicking. You know how they do that, and I don't fall for that usually. I know what that is, but I saw one last night that kind of concerned me, or last week. I thought this don't sound right, So I called Freddie Weeby. He said, no, he's fine. So I got a call day before yesterday from Coach Spurrier. He said, I'm doing fine. But the funny part about it was he was in Durham, and he was seeing a doctor there who happened to be a brain cancer specialist. But he wasn't seeing him about that. He was seeing him about something else. He was a friend of a trainer that he knew. The trainer said, you need to go see him. Steve was trying to get his back worked on. And this is a doctor. So the rumor got out there that Steve, he's, by the way, folks, as once was said by Mark Twain, the news of my death is greatly exaggerated. He's fine. He'll be back here soon. He is considering back fusion surgery, but he's okay. Let me just do this real fast. I'm going to go get Franz beard here and also tell folks about our good friends at Meadow Law. Don't get any better than this. What a tremendous job they do in promoting University of Florida. Nothing like it has ever been done since he did his big ring giveaway. The championship rings for basketball, the replicas were given out, and Meldon Law bought those rings. 10,000 of those rings. And they're beautiful rings. They look like the real thing. And and he just wanted to do something nice for the basketball program. And the people who came to that one game, they got these rings. So that's the typical thing that Meldon Law. They don't mess around. They do something. Jeffrey does at first class. He and his son and their team. Also, they do pretty good law too. In case you're interested, I'm working through something with them right now. So Meldon Law, they don't back down. Let's go see this guy right here, who, by the way, is rocking and rolling with his book signing coming up in Ocala. Let me just mention it right now. You can get one of those rings. Yeah, they're not. You can't get them anywhere else. But if you go to a book signing, this guy's going to be at Tuesday at Cogent Bank in Ocala, or Saturday at Chris Spears Prestige Auto. You'll be in a drawing for a ring. And there was going to be one given away there, one of those beautiful rings. So I know Franz Beard's going to try to swipe and take it, but it's going to go to you out there. Good evening to you, Franz.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
We're doing good. Under the weather a little bit. We're all kind of chilly tonight. Hey, Ben, this basketball team, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Oklahoma game. Did you watch it, Ben? Ben.
You know me. I don't have the time to sit, but do I go through the highlights? Yes, because here's the thing that you and Franz will have to deal with. You know, my account on X has been hacked like 2 or 3 times, but the trolls keep finding me. The trolls keep having something to say, like, Ben, y'all not that good. I'm like, whoa. Y'all still talking about early in the season? I think we finding our rhythm at a certain point. So I said, keep talking trash. I said, just make sure your team is there in March. Right. And if you play at a football school that don't win basketball games, just please be quiet.
Well, I'm going to tell you some news about Oklahoma on the football front here that if you don't know, you'll be glad to know about it. But first, I want to talk about Tommy Hopp. Oh, my gosh, what a part of this guy is. Read Franz's story about the Gator basketball game. Totally dominated Oklahoma. Dominated it. Mm-hmm. And I think this in France, you wrote about it on Tuesday night at the Lloyd Noble Center. And it looked like nobody was there. I guess there was an NBA game down the street or something, and the students were out of school. But anyway, fact is that what a performance that night. They're not 19th, and they had the blowout wins against Georgia and Tennessee. And now they really crushed Oklahoma. And so it was 45-24 at the half and 60-31 5 minutes in the second half when the Gators let off intensity pedal just enough to allow Oklahoma back in the game. They outscored them in the second half. But, Franz, tell me about this performance. It was awesome.
Well, here's the thing that in fact, I'm writing about it right now. I'm going to have it posted in just a little bit. Vanderbilt got exposed. Everybody else has been exposed in the last 3 games. I'm going to give you some numbers. 145 points, 97 rebounds, 19 assists, 12 steals, 18 block shots. That's our 4 big guys in the last 3 games. Florida has out-rebounded opponents in the last 3 games. Like 149 to 93, something like that. It's total domination. I'm calling it the reverse Samson effect.
Yeah,
Samson. Yeah. As long as he didn't let his hair grow, and Samson was the strongest man in the world. Boogie, as soon as he got his hair cut, became the strongest point guard in the SEC.
He did. And that Barber's getting some run too now. He's the same guy that cut Walter's hair last year.
Walt went from an all-SEC his junior year to the number 1 player in the country his senior year after he got the dreads cut. So this guy's got the magic snippers, and those guys obviously they have responded quite well.
Let me let Ben go here, and we're going to bring on Loren in. Ben, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hold on. Please write up, Franz, buddy. Please write up. Please do a write up on the Barber and just call it the Magic Snippers.
No,
please.
We tried to. I actually tried to get the information the other night when it happened, I talked to Franz. I talked to Kevin Brockway. Said, "Give me that name of that guy," and nobody knew it, and it finally came out. I don't
And
know.
hey Ben, let me throw one other thing at you. Florida now has its nose tackle.
Yeah, we got that earlier.
Oh yeah,
You
for
got
Baylor,
it?
from
Yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa cousin. You can't pronounce the last name.
Yeah.
He-
I'll say
he-
goodnight to Ben real fast. We got Loren waiting in the wings. Thanks, Ben. 84
Yes, sir.
reasons. Don't
Yes,
forget.
sir.
Appreciate it. All right. So, friends, people want to know, was Florida that good or was Oklahoma that bad?
Florida's that good. Florida, and buddy, this is a point in time when I've said all along that Florida's the best team in the SEC, and now we're starting to see it. I mean, Vanderbilt got totally exposed. Alabama's been exposed. Those teams can't rebound. If you can't rebound in this game, you cannot win ball games. And guess who's the best rebounding team in the country? The Florida Gators. And you listen to Seth Greenberg the other night talking about, he says, you got 4 NBA guys playing in the pivot. And he says, and nobody else has even one. Vanderbilt just got horrendously exposed by Texas, and Texas can't touch Florida. If the Gators don't succumb to that Memorial Gym magic, which it can happen, Vandy can go into shooters comas there at Memorial Gym, and as long as the Gators keep them from bombing away at 3 and taking the game out on the 3-point line, Florida's going to kill them, because Florida's going to kill them on the boards.
Okay.
In the last 3 ball games, you look at what they've done in the last 3 ball games. 56 rebounds against Georgia, 41 against Tennessee, 43 against Oklahoma. And these are not small basketball teams.
Yeah.
These are very big basketball teams. And you look what Florida did to them.
Let's get into let's let Loren jump in here real fast. Loren, good to see you.
How y'all doing? Good.
What'd you think?
It's a lot to think about. Talking about with the basketball team?
Yeah.
Everything I thought. I mean, they hitting their stride, man. I mean, I told people, we talked about it on several shows. I mean, I think it was 5 losses by 16 points or something like that. I mean, I thought that, you look at a team last year that was supposed to probably not, they were set and we were kind of looking at it, but even then they lost some games won some games they probably shouldn't have. And this year they've lost some games they probably shouldn't have. So it kind of balanced itself out, but I totally expected this team to be ready for March when it really counts, and starting in conference, I thought they'd really do well in conference play. I mean, they lost at Missouri a little, but with guys like Boogie Flan, I'm a big Boogie Flan guy, Thomas Houck and those guys. They're really right where I thought they would be. I think maybe a little bit early they missed a couple of those assistants that went on to greener pastures to become head coaches, and you just kind of figure things out. But I think this is a basketball team. I'm with Franz. I look for them to really start to dominate most of the conference. The conference is down, but yet you return, basically the core outside of the 3 guards of, Logden, Condon, Chinyelu, and Houck, who I saw today is midseason All-American.
Yeah, 13.
Definitely playing himself into basically the lottery. So, I'm not surprised one bit.
Yeah. I want to say, Franz has been telling me this. Sometimes we doubt our people. We shouldn't. When they lost 5 games by a combined total of 17 points.
Right.
Franz, I want you to do me a favor. I'd love to see you write the anatomy of those 5 losses. What happened in Arizona? What happened? And how close they come? What were the key plays? And he's been telling us that this team looks like it's just starting to find its potential. Now, a guard player, you get Boogie Flan, get your guards going. This is a whole different deal. My gosh, Chinyelu, He was the defensive player of the year in the SEC. He's a force, isn't he, Franz?
Well, one thing about him is if he gets his hands on the ball, it's his. Nobody's getting it away from him.
Rips it away.
Yep.
And here's the thing that I hope people noticed about him in the Oklahoma game and also in the Tennessee game. Did you see this 6'11", 270-pound guy diving on the floor with the 6-footers in there? I mean, he's just determined that the ball belongs to him anytime it's close to him. And he is using his power and he's using his energy and he's gotten the motor going. This is a guy, he's not on a lot of NBA draft lists now, and I keep wondering why not. Well, I guarantee you they'll have him on there by the end of the year because you cannot, you know, they say, well, he can't shoot a three. Who cares? If he can get you the ball 12 to 15 times a ball game, your three-point shooter should get some shots.
Yeah.
And you need those guys. I mean, you look back when, you know, when you're defending guys, I mean, everybody thinks you got to have the same guy like a Jokic when you talk about the NBA. And Franz, you know this. You remember the Lakers threw JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard at Jokic, and that's who shut him down. It wasn't the guys just like him. It was guys like that, like a Chinyelu, big, strong guys, not a lot of offensive games, but know how to plant their feet defensively, keep him off the glass, keep him from that pinch post. And that's where Chinyalu's, because he's going to be the stopper for those versatile guys that you see, Jaren Jackson and some of those that are having their way. A guy like Chinyalu is going to be able to come in and be that X factor where he doesn't necessarily play every night, but when you play a certain person at that level in the NBA, you'll see certain games he'll get a ton of minutes, and it'll be because of that.
I think Franz wrote that the night. He may not make the starting lineup, but he'll be on a roster for a long time in the NBA.
Yeah, no doubt.
And listen, I just want to take a moment before we switch subjects here to say what happened last year with the three great guards at one position, all of whom have become stars in the NBA almost already. You know, that ain't going to happen again in your lifetime. It ain't going to happen. That was a rarity. And people say, how come we can't get guards like that? You don't get that kind of stuff. You don't get that, you know?
Yes.
It's like saying, well, we'll get more 7'8" guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'll be, you know, buddy, it's like, there's two things that I think won't happen again. Like you said, that, I mean, you know, it comes once a generation, so to speak, and Florida fans know about that. You had the 04s and Green and Brewer and Humphrey, and then it took a while. But you're also never going to see two top-notch quarterbacks on the roster either, because it ain't going to be – they say, well, why can't we find a good backup quarterback? Because the backup quarterback is starting somewhere else now.
Well, matter of fact, you brought it up.
You're not going to see.
They got two really good ones right now.
Well, yeah, but you and I both know.
But let's talk about them.
Well,
for a second.
Yeah, we can talk about them, but one of them's leaving when they don't get the job.
Not yet.
Well, right, but go ahead.
But you go ahead and evaluate. Let you and Franz evaluate the quarterbacks right now. Shane Matthews tells me I'm good. I don't need a 5-star in that position. Matter of fact, it hurts us to have that, and that these are the kind of guys that you want. Kid from Georgia Tech, obviously, the one already on the roster. Loren, weigh in on that, and Franz, you can weigh in. I'm going to bring Dan Bonnet and talk about gymnastics.
Well, I think what you got is, you know, an Aaron Philo. I mean, you got a guy in Tramel Jones, huge upside. You know, really did some nice things when he was in the game. I've always said all those quarterbacks were playing with one hand behind their back schematically, because I never really knew what Florida was trying to do under Napier. I mean, some days it looked and then, but the one thing that you have in Aaron Philo is the minute installs start, you got instant credibility there. You got instant know-how. He knows what to do. Things will move faster as things are getting installed because he will know the language. When he sees looks, he'll say, yeah, that's that. When he sees this, yeah, that's that. I check into this. I know this formation. I know this concept. and it just helps an offense move and groove. So as he's getting to know those receivers and things like that, he will understand landmarks and when the ball needs to get out. He'll be able to check into the right run play for Jaden Baugh and others. So I think that's, I agree. I mean, you don't have to have, and you got to have efficiency at the quarterback position. You don't have to have big arm. You got to have somebody that understands timing, knows how to get the ball in certain situations. And for me, throws a catchable football where guys like Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson, both great guys after the catch, and Singleton's another one. And what's the little fidget that they got from Georgia Tech? He's nice with the ball in his hands too. So getting it in a catchable position, and then where we can do something with the ball. So I think at this time you move on into the spring and roll with those two guys.
Franz, if we found out Signetti has told us you don't have to have 10 years to get somebody ready to play. Those guys are amazing. Maybe again, I'll say it, others have said it, the most amazing story in college football ever is in Indiana. What they've done, I heard Feinbaum shooting them down today because they had a terrible opening 3 games. They played all easy games, but the performances of their quarterback and their coach, Signetti now suddenly is being mentioned as a guy. What about him in Pittsburgh? He's a Pittsburgh guy. Well, at 66, he ain't going to get that job. France, we haven't seen anything like this in Indiana.
No, we haven't. But it just goes to show you that the name of the game isn't having how many stars you got. The name of the game is having a coach that, first off, knows where to play your guys, okay? Urban used to have this thing, and I think Urban was one of the best I've ever seen at evaluating talent and everything. He said, you can come here in year 1, you can be whatever you want to be. I don't care. But he says at the end of year 1, if you aren't what I think you ought to be, then you got to listen to me and go where I tell you to go. Cornelius Ingram, the perfect example. Wanted to be a quarterback, was a quarterback all his life. Spent 1 year playing quarterback for Urban and finally figured out, hey, I got a future catching the football. But that's just the perfect example right there of a guy of a coach that understands how to develop his players, where to put them, and to fill his roster with guys who do that accordingly. There's a great story in The Athletic about Signetti, about this one guy who said he's not afraid to play a guy that's a walk-on who gives him the effort and the productivity over the guy that comes there with the big name and all the stars. He says, and you heard him say it after the ball game against Oregon. He says, the only thing I care about is effort and productivity.
Yeah. Speaking of Oregon, they got their quarterback back. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, it makes me wonder if Dylan Rowell is going to actually go there. I mean,
yeah, it's amazing that and he got $7.5 million to go back. $7.5 million.
I worked for less than that, buddy.
Dante Moore. I don't understand. Anyway,
I know I'm not in Loren's league, but I have worked for less than $7.5 million.
Yeah, me too. I'm doing it now.
Yeah. We could all work for them for that, and then some. Have plenty of money left over. Let's say hello to our good buddy Dan Bond, who's got a big meet. We don't keep up with like we should, but boy, I tell you, that all money comes out of these people. The gymnastics team, Loren, Franz is on fire in Fayetteville. Right, Dan Bond?
Yeah, they're ready to roll this year. They're number 1 for the first time since 21, where they went the whole season at number 1. They've added a few wrinkles here where you got MJ Frazier transferred in from Cal, and she really looked good in her first meet as a Gator. And you've had Selena Harris. Miranda is transferred in from UCLA last year. And those are 2 big transfer pickups for Coach Rowland. So it's exciting to see what they started out with. I mean, in gymnastics, typically you start out low and then you build up through the season. So starting out with the highest score in the country really says a lot, especially with LSU, Oklahoma looming out there. You have 8 of the top 10 schools or the top 10 gymnastics or in the SEC. So I mean, looking good. They're figuring out some rotations. You got Lee Boy start off the season with a 9.9 on the vault and looking good. She's just 17. She was a freshman last year, so you figure you're going to see more of her. You've got Jayla Booker is a true freshman who came in to do a floor routine and had a 9.9. That was their weak spot last year. And you've got her and MJ coming in and picking that number up that has really fallen off since Trinity left. They have kind of been right there around 5 to 10, and you need to have that 1 to 5 range to hoist the trophy at the end of the year.
Hey, let me ask Dan Bond real quick. What's he reading lately?
Oh, I'm reading this right here.
I got mine too. Look at mine. I got mine too.
Yeah, I need that ring now.
Yeah, no, we all need that ring.
So
That is unbelievable. Telling you what, that's an amazing. It looks like $1 million. It does. It's unbelievable. I got a picture of it, and I had to call Freddie and say, "Is this the real ring or is this a replica?" He said, "No, that's a replica. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
It really is."
Zoom in on that, buddy. There you go.
Look at there. See, there's one right there. Put it in that camera. See, he's got more pull than we got. We don't have pull.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Loren knows everybody, you know.
He does. Loren, get us one, will you?
Sir?
All right.
I said, get us one.
Oh, yeah, I tried, man. You know, it's funny. If I'd have known when we left that night, I didn't realize they hadn't run out. And they were selling them for like $20. I'd have got everybody one. I was missing the boat on that. I'd have got all of us one.
We'll wind up with one somewhere. But anyway, the final few minutes, we don't have many. I want to make sure we get plenty of Dan Bond. He's doing a great job, as he always does, out there in Dallas-Fort Worth. He's going to be talking softball soon. He loves his softball, and he'll be out and about. And appreciate all you do there, Dan. And we'll look forward to your story tomorrow night. Now, let me ask all you dudes, since you're all Gator basketball and football fans. Let me say, I will finish the sentence. You've got a minute each. I will be disappointed in the Gator basketball team if they don't blank. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I made it to Oklahoma Tuesday, and watching them in person was very impressive. I got down on the court and watched a little warm-ups, and just the hustle level this year, even they won it all last year, just seems like a tick up as far as just going for the ball, and Hawk looking so awesome. So I'd be disappointed, if they don't. I'd love to see them win the SEC again, just the regular season and the SEC tournament, and then we'll see what happens when tournament time comes.
All right. Loren, you ready?
Yes, sir. We're going to let the old sage go last. I will be disappointed if the Florida men's basketball team doesn't make it to the second weekend of the tournament.
Okay.
And you know how I feel about that. I say if you can make the second weekend, you can go to the Final Four.
Right.
And then you go to the Final Four, it's on. So I would be disappointed if they at least don't make the Sweet 16.
Here's the guy who's going to tell us what they're going to do. And Franz, you'd be disappointed if what?
I'd be disappointed if they don't win both the SEC regular season and tournament. I think Florida is that much better than everybody else. I think what happened to Vanderbilt the other night is living proof. Vanderbilt has no rebounding, and as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to win at this level without rebounding. And as much as we like to talk about Walt and Will Richard and Amart making shots last year, One of the reasons they were able to make shots was our big guys went out there and got the dadgum basketball and kept the other team from scoring on the inside. These guys are just dominating the paint. They're grown men in there. I think Norm Roberts, who was once a Florida assistant coach and spent, I think, about 15 years working with Bill Self, the comment he made the other night. He says, this is unfair. This is grown men, and they are. And nobody has grown more than Ruben Chenyalu. Ruben Chenyalu right now is a dominator. And what he does with his inside power is he opens everything up for everybody else. You can have Alex Condon up at the top of the key making passes. You can have Tommy Hawk running the baseline, getting open on the perimeter. You can have Xavier Lee and Boogie getting into the lane and making passes. And lest we say, we found the other two pieces in there. Urban Klavijar and Isaiah Brown are number 7 and 8 in that rotation. And
I heard an interview tonight on the car wash thing they did, and they asked Huff who's having the best season, who's the guy. He's the Urban Klavijar. He was a very shooting's been unbelievable. That's Hal, who's having a fantastic. We're out of time, guys. Before we go, I just want to say thanks to both of you. And Franz, answer this question. David Baldo says, I need my book. What are you going to do about it?
Well, what am I going to do about it? You can order it from Spurrier's. You can come see me. I'm easy to find. Ask Loren. He's at the ball games.
Yeah.
Look for the hat. If you see the hat, I'm there, and I make sure I carry an extra copy in my bag. Come see me.
Or come to the signings. That's the thing. The signings.
Come to my signing.
Yeah, he can make that drive over from DeLand, man. It's right there.
Oh, it's going to be right there.
DeLand? Well,
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Come on over. He's in the land.
I'll bring mine for my autograph.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. Fantastic opportunity. I won't go into it now. A lot of people you'll know there. Cogent Bank on Tuesday, and then of course
Tom Ingram's bank, and he's got a great bank. He's got a great bank at a beautiful location on the square in Ocala.
Yeah,
I'm gonna slide through for sure. I'll be there. I have scrubs on, but I'll be there.
You'll be all right. We've seen those before.
Are they orange and blue?
No, they're. I might whip out the blue ones for y'all.
Yeah, wear the blue. Got to go, guys. Thank you. Great job,
Thank
Dan.
you,
good to see you. Look forward to your story tomorrow night, Loren. I'm looking for your column anytime on football here.
Yes, sir.
Franz Beard, you got one coming up tomorrow morning. I want to read. Right?
I got that, and I'm going to update everybody on everybody in the SEC, where they're coming from, where they're going to.
Everything you want to know. Everything you want to know. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you. Great job.
Right, talk to y'all soon.
All right. Thank you. All right, folks. Let's go wrap it up from this end here in a cold Lake Wobegon. Boy, oh boy, is it cold. But, hey, wrap yourself up warm tonight. And by the way, just so you know, if you need some information on what you should be doing in terms of your needs medically for MRI or CAT scan, I got just a place for you. They got now 3 locations to serve you, and pretty soon they'll have a 4th in Ocala. And you heard me talk about it a lot. They sponsor on the program. It's certainly Titan MRI and Imaging is a place you should know about if you want to get good service. You want the customer service angle to kick in. I mean, where can you go where you say, I can't make it today during the day. Can I come back at night? And they'll say, sure, come on back. We'll take care of you. We'll make you an appointment tonight. So they'll do that right there for you there at Titan MRI. So check it out. And also want you to know there are 3 locations to serve you. Park Avenue location and Millennium Center in Gainesville. One in Lake City serving all Columbia County and Valdosta. They offer the same great customer service. They accept insurance, or you can go through the convenient self-pay program. And they offer MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, ultrasound, and they have the larger MRI machines for your patient comfort. So check it out. Titan MRI and Imaging. Thanks to our guests tonight. Thank you to our sponsors. We'll be back, the weekend sometime. And don't forget to read GatorMedia.com for all your needs. Tell your friends, neighbors about it. It's a heck of a good publication.